Alright guys, so just doing my afternoon walk. There's some construction going on in the home, and I wanted to really talk about a few things that I would do and I'm preparing for, and it's time to kind of share this with everyone as well. Now, folks who are very veteran are already moving their money into the market. They've already probably been doing so for the past 3 to 6 months. It's not a secret, it's not new. You're seeing large discussions on crypto. You're seeing large movements in the crypto market. We're talking about billions here going in. It's just that, of course, you're going to have a mix. You're going to have a mixed set of data. One will say, okay, the crypto market isn't ready. SBF has just received charges in terms of potentially 115-year sentence for the 8 fraud charges, and that is still going to be decided only next year, March 2024. However, you're seeing people who have been in the space who are reasonably credible, who have made millions in the crypto market, and they are preparing. Now, I just want to put out my piece. So first and foremost, I think one needs to be as healthy as possible. Okay, why your health is so important? Because during this period of time, you need to understand that you need to get your mind straight and focus. When you still have bad habits, what do I mean by bad habits? You're not eating right. You are still an alcoholic. You are still doing drugs. You are still eating fast foods. You're eating processed foods. You're not sleeping right. Okay? All these things will affect your thinking because you're still in that state of instant gratification. You don't have your goals set in place. So even if you did make money, right? And this was something that I kind of didn't address at the beginning because I thought, it's not my place. I wasn't in the best shape myself. And I told myself, okay, let's just talk about risk management. Let's talk about token selection. Let's justify why do we buy this token, whether this founder is right for the project, whether he's credible or not. Okay? But I realized that all those things don't really matter that much. It's about how you manage your own risk. So I'm going to tell you from how I'm supposed to be doing this, right? So I cleaned up my act for the past 12 months. That started out last year in September. I cleaned up my act. I wasn't a smoker, I wasn't a drinker. I was always just lofty, I was just gluttony. I enjoyed the good bull run, and I didn't take care of my health. There was no health scares. It was just like I was looking at myself like, wow, I'm just so lazy now. I'm taking things for granted. I'm very complacent. And I said, you know what, just clean up my act. Let's just start working out again. Let's start getting healthy. And as my body became healthier, so too was my mind, right? I was able to focus better. And I asked myself this, right now, knowing that there's the halving in 2024, what am I supposed to be doing? So I started researching, and Bitcoin, no matter what, is still the catalyst that will lead the whole market. When Bitcoin starts moving, Ethereum will start moving. And when Ethereum starts moving, so too will the altcoin market. Now, the last wave was NFT, was DeFi, and was metaverse gaming, whatever you want to call it. All right. This time around, you want to roughly park your funds into things that are AI related. This is my personal thoughts, right? Now, watching this video, I'm sharing my personal thoughts not because I want you to speculate, but I feel that at the end of the day, crypto is going to be the next thing that will get you your 10x, your 20x, your 100x. There's no other way, unless you are someone who has already been invested in property for a very long time, and we all know that property can never 20x, in a short span of time. It's next to impossible. At the same time, not all of us have a great credit score. This is one of your only chances. So I was thinking to myself, okay, what did I not do for you all the last time? I think, like I said, start taking care of your health first. Then you will suddenly be very, very clear about what you need to do. Okay? So once you clean up your own personal health, you start thinking of what are the things you want to achieve in your life. Like right now, when you clean up your act from a physical standpoint, your mind will automatically be very, very focused. I wake up every morning knowing what I need to do. There's no like bouts of laziness. I wake up every morning at the same time, and this has happened ever since I started my regime. I go to bed at the same time as well. There are occasions where I do have to sleep a little bit later if I'm having a meeting, but other than that, I wake up and go to bed at roughly around the same time. This helps my circadian rhythm, right? So that my body can recover. I feel more energetic in the morning when I'm supposed to do my things. And this is something that you need to do for yourself also. Because when the crypto market becomes extremely hot for no particular reason, right, you will be so flushed with euphoria and excitement. You start doing stupid things. You start over leveraging. You start getting desperate, like you're not putting enough money into the market when your existing positions are actually doing pretty well. So what will happen is pretty straightforward. It's very, very standard. Okay, every single time it happens, because it's just the cycles of the market. Okay, it's not even rocket science anymore. So when the markets are just going crazy and whatever token you start investing in, it can go up either maybe 8% one day. The next thing you know, it's going to be up 20% or even 30%. It's going to be that insane. Now, of course, being that exchanges provide leverages these days, which is the futures market and even options, you're going to have that ability to put very little, and you're going to have that high margin that you can utilize to accelerate your gains. Now, what happens is that this suddenly becomes gambling, right? Because the markets are just so volatile, they're going to go up and down relatively quickly. You're going to just get liquidated very easily as well. So I would advise you to not do that, right? Stick to realizing your profits from one trade. Let's say if you're starting out with just a small amount, let's just say a figurative $5,000. Okay, let's just say $5,000. You made $10,000 from a crypto trade. From there, you have doubled your money, right? From there, you take your profits. You think, okay, how can I grow this? Now, take note that this is just going to be very, very straightforward already. You don't have to really do too much research because the catalyst itself is just already in play. So a lot of these things, especially if they're all related to each other, right? I give you a good example. The last time was Curve, SushiSwap, Aave, Uniswap. All right. So these were all going up in tandem and taking turns. The liquidity, by the way, is driven by a few things. One, you're having capital controls, where the money flow is just trying to flow out from a particular country. Now, I will not name any particular countries. You just go and do any research on countries that have capital controls. From there, that is the opportunity, because that is when they have already had their liquidity providers and their high liquidity accounts already up and running and ready. Because there's that whole euphoria that comes from both the retail and institutional money, it's going to help pump the markets. From there, you're going to be able to see, oh shit, the tokens are just flying. And this is when all the liquidity is just available, and that's when they also can cash out. Take note, it doesn't mean that when they cash out, although they are dumping, but sometimes the euphoria is just so strong, it's going to take the token higher and higher. But they're not interested in that. All they want is to be able to exit their hundreds of millions of dollars to potentially billions, depending on how big the position is. And it can be any token, but sure, there has to be an underlying theme. The Bitcoin prices will fly first, Ethereum, and then all the altcoins. Now, you need to be ready by making sure that you have all the accounts up and running. Your own accounts, your source of wealth right? You need to substantiate your source of wealth. For example, if you are someone who is a blue-collar worker or white-collar worker, but you don't make really that much money, the next thing you make, maybe $100,000, $200,000, you're very worried once it hits the bank account. This is the part that gets a little bit tricky, especially if you're in a country that has, taxes and all that, just like the US. It's just so difficult. I could never solve that because I live in Singapore. We don't have capital gains tax. So this doesn't really affect us. That's why a lot of crypto investors, billionaires, millionaires are all now in Dubai. Okay, because there's just no capital gains tax. So once they make that kind of money, right, it's just gonna be really crazy. Alright, and also don't forget there's gonna be plenty of scammers as well. So all these scammers will also try to appear sounding all professional, sounding in the know. Some will utilize their influence. That's the scary part, right? They're going to utilize their influence, and from there, what's going to be really sad is that they're going to sell their projects to the market. So the next turn, right? The next turn, that means this current wave, right? The projects are already being set up already. It will be in line with whatever is the hype play for 2024 to 2025. So for example, AI, machine learning, you have biomedical plays, telemedicine, you're gonna have probably more fintech projects, right? Fintech, financial technology projects, decentralized plays as well, corporate governance, GovTech, EduTech, anything that has some form of tokenization element will also excite the market. This will come in line exactly the way it's supposed to be because the market suddenly became hot already. Okay, the stock market obviously will also benefit from this. Now you must be thinking, isn't the interest rate now very, very high? It doesn't matter, because even when the interest rate is high, people will start borrowing money because they are still lacking liquidity. They do not have the liquidity to trade the market. They will start putting in their homes for mortgage, which is the same thing. And although maybe, for example, the LTV, the loan to value, may not be that fantastic because of the tighter, more stringent, tighter and more stringent debt servicing ratios that are given to customers, but never mind, people will still take it. Now I'm talking about people, average people who have still not really made a ton of money in anything, right? That's really the kind of the second last wave. Yes, I'm really live, by the way. So you're just asking whether I'm really live, right? Yes, I'm really live, and yes, I'm from Singapore. So all these things are very, 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 very exciting. And this is something that I was like thinking, okay, you just want to prep. You want to prep and you want to prep your audience. And I want to prep my audience in this manner because it's the mindset. Going forward, like I said, I think there are people who are going to just trade anything and everything. When you have enough liquidity, you can go and try out all the weird stuff. Low market cap, go into some kind of Telegram group, go into some Discord group. It's pretty much the same thing, guys. But it has to be in line and in theme. And it may not even be on the news. It may not be something that any crypto influencer is talking about. Because it all boils down to how close the circle is. Once the market starts flying again, the euphoria will just take place. You will see CNBC, you will see Bloomberg, you will see Fortune magazine all writing about crypto because they have already set themselves up years ago, right? And FTX kind of helped that out, okay? And people will definitely still invest. Now, which exchanges to use? That's the part that I do not want to give any advice, because I feel that DeFi or decentralized exchanges are really one of the safest places or the safer places, because you are able to just move the liquidity around, still knowing that it lands up in your wallet, okay? Rather than it being on a centralized platform and potentially being at risk. It's so hard to tell. Now, a lot of folks will obviously be like, okay, you know what, I'm going to use a hedge fund. You can't use a hedge fund, I'm so sorry, but I'm just saying, as a retail user, for example, you're going to struggle because you don't know which exchanges you can truly and fully trust. My advice, start learning on Web3 wallets. Now the MetaMask, using how to set up the MetaMask, and at the same time how to secure, right? Securely accept a transaction. Knowing the contracts that you're getting yourself involved with. Because what happens is that when you start a MetaMask wallet, you're signing off on that transaction. Means that you are allowing it. If you do not know the contract that you're supposed to be interacting with and you accept, that program or that contract has access to the wallet that you just set up. All right, and if you have been doing enough research, you will see that there have been crypto influencers who have lost their whole NFT collection, or they've lost all their tokens that have been sitting on MetaMask, and it's very unfortunate. Now, this is your own basic security. Why crypto is that important? Because it allows you to hold your own assets. You are in charge. You cannot blame anyone except yourself. But because of that, you also have the ability to have the privacy that no one else can see your finances except you. All right, so this is the part. Now the only issue here is, how do you exit? Okay, so I'm gonna just share the exit part, right? So I'll get to the comments later, guys. Okay, just let me kind of get my flow of thought. So now exiting. Now we've already put our coins, we've made our money. Exiting is one of the most troublesome and dangerous parts as well. Now, of course, if you're in a country like myself, it's so much easier. We are a very safe country. So transacting, you have people who are doing P2P, but of course P2P is a little bit harder to do because there is rampant scams in Asia as well. So bank accounts are always being compromised by people who are running scams. Okay, they can be from just literally just washing money all the time. It happens all the time on the ATMs. Okay, and then from there, when you are seeking a P2P provider who is willing to buy your USDT or USDC or whatever stablecoin, okay? Now I think there's FDUSD or something like that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So they're willing to buy your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, whatever high liquidity, valuable crypto, right? You need to trust that person. That means you're gonna have to sell it. You have to transfer first before they even send the fiat to your bank account or pay you in cash. Now, if you're in a safe country, meeting at a certain place, it depends. It may be easy, maybe a bit dubious. It really all depends, right? And also, it's your own personal safety. Now, I would rather you not do that if you could avoid it. But if you have someone who you have worked with and you have a very trusted relationship with this person, sure. Okay, that's all based on reputation. I would avoid that one, but it's up to you. Now the second one is going through existing exchanges. So I understand, Kraken still can do bank transfers. You have accounts or crypto exchanges that have licensing from your existing country's monetary system, right? That means that means these exchanges are already given the license, so you can kind of still use those. But the issue here is that when the market is hot, you suddenly have 100,000 worth, 200,000 worth. Your withdrawal will be only 10 to 20,000, because if you don't do a full KYC or a full substantiation of your net worth or your ability, they'll be wondering, why are you withdrawing so much, right? So you could have been someone who flips burgers by day, but you made a killer, life-changing trade that you no longer need to flip burgers. You can call your boss and tell the boss to, you know what, I no longer need this job. I've already made $1 million in crypto. I'm out of here. But the problem is, you cannot substantiate, neither do you have the net worth or that pay slip to justify that you are able to withdraw this amount. This is the tricky part. So you need to open more than one exchange, right? You need to have the ability to open multiple accounts, maybe at 20,000, 5,000. There are some really ridiculous amounts because we've been doing a lot of research on my end to see how much can one person withdraw into their bank account, and it's really frustrating. I've seen ridiculous amounts like $3,000, I think $10,000. Some can go as high as maybe 250,000. It really depends, but it boils down to the fact that how many can you open and what country are you in. So that being said, you need to have as many accounts that allow you to get back to fiat. Don't think about, I want to hold on and hodl for the next run and all that. Please do not bother. Do not bother, because once it goes up very, very quickly, it's going to dump very quickly. That is just how the market works. Now, once it dumps, right, you're gonna do two things. You completely exit the market. You need to bear in mind, right, that things can go higher than anything. So I'm not providing any price analysis. I'm just going to tell you what you need to do. Once you exit and you successfully withdraw, please, for the love of God, get your finances in order. This is nothing new. It is just logical. It's using your brains. You go and make sure that you start, right, paying off things that are annoying. For example, maybe you're someone who has a mortgage. Try to clear that off, right? If you feel that you are cool to handle the interest rate and you love to have the cash on hand to perhaps start a business, go ahead. But like I said, a business is another level of risk. It isn't something 100%, but if it's something that you've been longing to do, why not? Because now suddenly you have made this money from the market, right? You want to explore something that is something that you're passionate about, and your day job isn't something that you're passionate about, you do that. Second, if you are having a student loan, now this is something that I realize is very, very big thing in the US, where people start off their careers after graduating from university and they have large student loan debts. And during the COVID, I understand that it was stopped, but it has resumed, and people who are now suddenly having this extra $600 that they need to pay per month, and their jobs are not, their salaries are not keeping up, and it's really dragging them down, right? So all these things you try to clear, right? Because these are things that will affect perhaps your credit score. The next thing, if you have credit card debt, that's why I told you guys, start working out, having a right mentality. Be more focused on what you want to do, what you want to achieve. Don't be someone who is so addicted to Amazon Prime, buying stuff randomly. You're just sitting in front of the TV. You're not having a bigger objective or bigger dreams. These are things that you need to start planning, because once it happens, guys, it's going to happen so quickly, and suddenly you're just going to go take a trip to Vegas, play some baccarat, play some roulette, play some poker, whatever you guys love to do. And then the next thing you know, the whole crypto bull run is going to be over, right? Like it always will. There will be this very quick drop. This drop is going to be so fast, and you're not prepared for it. You thought that it's going to, because this is maybe your first rodeo or something like that, and you didn't achieve anything. You're back to zero, you're back to square one. You can't quit your job. You did not build any assets. You did not clear any long-term debt that is annoying. You're back to square one because you didn't plan, right? So these are the things that I really urge you to do, because this will be my third cycle, right? My third cycle in this, and I'm just only going to build the net worth. That's all. I already have things that are in place. The idea here is not to sell you on the things that are in place, but just to tell you what is to happen, what will come, how you're going to handle it, and just go about doing it. That's all. All you need to do is execute whatever I'm saying in this video, and you'll be more or less set. Whether you're going to be set for life determines on where you are in terms of your current financial position, and also your mentality. How mature are you? Are you an 18-year-old who is still studying, watching this, doing your degree? You're someone who is saving up perhaps for your degree. You are maybe in your 20s, still in your first or your second job. You're really frustrated. You're just working for the sake of working so that you can enjoy your Friday, Saturday, Sunday, only to be fucked every Monday to Friday? I don't know. The next thing, maybe you're an entrepreneur, right? An entrepreneur is a little bit different. You are building your business, but having that extra liquidity. You've already loaned from the banks already. Now the current interest rates are so much higher. You need more liquidity to push your business. I don't know. But these are things that, these opportunities don't come often. And every time after the Bitcoin halving, right, especially Bitcoin halving, what happens is very simple. Bitcoin halving, you're going to have a bull run that will happen maybe 6 months after to about one and a half years later. So it kind of seeps in. It's very, very interesting. So you have this window, but you just need to prepare. You can't be like totally lost. Now there are going to be credible channels that you can follow, but I just find that a lot of these channels also are just, they're just putting information out. They're not giving you the information to make the decision because it's just too risky already, and they're protecting their interests anyway. Because you must understand that a lot of people got hurt in the last bull market due to FTX. Too many already, and exchange, and you have projects that go down. It's one thing, like Terra Luna is Do Kwon, right? It's literally a Ponzi scheme, but at the time it's just so good, right? And FTX made it like, wow, this thing is just going to the moon. It's so fucking legit. You have all the big celebrities. Just go and watch the latest episode by Bloomberg. I think it's pretty good. Bloomberg Originals, or is it Bloomberg Origins, covering the whole FTX story and how CZ just fucking rammed his dick right through and out of SBF's mouth, man. Literally rammed him in the ass. So it's very, very interesting. I tell you, all these things can happen, and I would say that people are going to be more cautious. Founders are going to be more cautious when they raise money. They're going to be trying to do it in a more regulated manner, I would assume, right? Because this time around, if they don't charge SBF, right, with that high level of punishment, right, because SBF comes from a very privileged family, right? Parents are law professors in Stanford, I think. Lived in a good area and everything like that. Not like the rags to riches kind of thing. So-called a quant guy, a smart guy. And now, you know, he's gonna have potentially a life sentence. So it sets the precedence, right, that any project, any exchange that tries to do something really crazy and tries to charm and then eventually have to scam the market or do any kind of mismanagement of funds is going to feel the full length of the law, really, the full intensity of the law. So all these things, right, I feel are just going to be very, very important to take note of. And you need to really be smart in terms of your decision making. Okay, so G Torres, let me get to your question. Any thoughts on having a number in the plan so when you reach that number, you cash out? I've learned it's hard to execute when your portfolio reaches that number. Okay, so G Torres, this is quite a general question, right? But I'll try my best to answer it. Okay, so I give you my example. At the time, in 2016, I invested in Ethereum. My debt at that time was the home that I bought. Okay, that was kind of like the only debt. I don't drive because driving in Singapore is just something that I don't do because we have a very efficient transportation system, and I don't like driving because I love to create things. Driving doesn't allow me to create anything because I need to focus on the road. So I had a debt for my home. That was the main thing. So when I told myself, okay, and how much was it? It was 475,000 in terms of a loan, Singapore dollars. Now you do the math with whatever US dollars or what, maybe it works out to about 300,000 US dollars. So that was the debt that I had to clear off. So when I made that money, right, I told myself that I wanted to cash out and make sure that I have enough to enjoy life as well. So I made my first million through that run. My very first million US dollars through that run. And I cashed out, not everything, of course, but I cashed out to clear that loan because that is something that I don't like. It's not a very high interest rate at the time because this was literally pre inflation, and there was the interest rate was I think less than 2%. It's not crazy. So I cleared that. I was debt free officially, and I was able to live the life that I wanted. That's when in 2018, 2019, I started the whole crypto channel which you're watching right now. And that was money losing for me because the whole market tanked, right? After 2017, the market tanked. So I took whatever profits from the market to set up a business. I didn't buy random shit. I didn't travel to gamble or whatever. It was just really getting business experience. So that's what I did. So for you have to know exactly what you want to cash out in the market first, or from the market, right? And be very, very clear about it. Like, you tell yourself, okay, I want to cash out. Sometimes, it really depends, because it depends also on how much you have in the market, to be fair, right? If you don't have much to put in, will you be borrowing? I've always been very concerned about people borrowing to put into crypto, because it's too speculative. No matter how much people can convince you, it's too speculative. And if you are going to need this amount of capital to pay your bills, right, and it's used for your livelihood, and it's going to give you a lot of stress, I would rather you not. I'd rather you not put in that much. You put in, or you start hustling by making more liquid cash so that you can put it into the market. Exchange your time, your effort for money right now and put in to the market. Now, of course, people say, which one? Which token? Everyone is trying to do which token. You see, the success stories, right, will come from all spectrums, from some weird coin that probably is going to be mentioned by some channel, and then you're going to think like this guy is a god because he made you your first $10,000, and then after that there's going to be someone who's going to make you $100,000, and you're going to be very grateful. But what happens is that when you lose sight of your own personal goal and you get influenced by theirs, then it's going to hurt you. So don't get caught up. That's one thing. Sorry, it's a little bit lengthy, but I hope I answered your question. It's very hard to answer, but that is something that I can help you with. So guys, this is kind of like I hope that if there's any other questions with regards to the market, preparing for the market, feel free to kind of list down in the comments after this video. I try to go live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I want to do live. And why only live? Because I don't want people to think that all this content is authentic. It's all like literally in my head. These are all experiences that I built up for these past 6 years, and I just want to share them, because I think there are people out there that really want to make a good, bring up their net worth, especially because it's just so sucky to always just be in a position of poverty, not having enough money. It's very, very frustrating. So I want to help, just kind of like support by subscribing to the channel. That would be really, really helpful as well. And like I said, anything that you need in terms of mindset, biohacking, right? Because right now I think health is such a big important factor to play in this whole ecosystem. It isn't about knowing. Yes, it is good to plug yourselves in, but these networks are usually closed community. It is only fair because you can't expect everyone to give you access when you're not willing to be committed. So that financial there's always a financial barrier, right? To kind of qualify you. So for me, I used to do that, but after a while, I was like, you know what, fuck this, just do the content. There's no need to charge anyone any money these days because I already made that amount of money. So I was like, okay, just share. And sometimes the run is just so quick, you know, it may happen in the next 3 to 6 months, and then this information is no longer valid already. Then what the fuck am I gonna do? Because I don't want to keep doing crypto content, because when the crypto market is very, very quiet, builders will be building and it becomes very, very technical. So yes, it would be great that if you could follow them on your own capacity, but you don't have to listen to a investor come YouTuber. To a certain extent you can, but I'd rather be more fulfilled by building content that I enjoy. So I'd like to do things like, for example, mental health, right? Mental health is just so important because I've just heard of people who made so much money, and when suddenly they were living a very good life, but because they were just spending the money unnecessarily, and suddenly when the money started to dry out, they didn't know what to do, because whatever valuable skills was not being built along the way. You know what I mean? They made the money, but they were not developing themselves. So when finally they needed to, they have lost or spent all the money, they are starting to get desperate. So they've already created that persona, like, wow, you know, I'm living such a great life and everything, but actually they ran out of money already. So they started to feel depressed, and some of them, you know, actually killed themselves, and some of them are in depression, or they became drug addicts. It's actually very sad because they never had the right mindset in place. They were not using the money to develop themselves or improve their well-being. It was not anything valuable in that sense. So guys, be very mindful when you make money. Please, you know, share this with someone who could use this information. If you are someone who could use this information, you know, write it down, right? Manifest it, because it will happen, guys. I'm pretty certain, because I've done these videos over and over and over again. I've helped people, and I'm glad that people still remember what I do. And if you're watching this for the very first time, yeah, you know, please support the channel. Don't forget to click on the notification bell so that when any new live streams appear, you're going to be able to be notified about it. See you guys in the next live stream.